and welcome. Good evening. As India today has put the focus on the NEET controversy for the last many weeks and has led the fight for justice for students, the paper leak racket in states like Bihar and states like Gujarat, Haryana are now coming to the fore. And there's been one political twist after another with an all-out blame game over the powerful names that are now emerging in this case as the investigation progresses. Details first in our report, and then we debate.
Students on the warpath against alleged NEET paper leak in Patna, Bihar. The accused in the case have confessed, triggering a big political storm. The Bihar Economic Offences Unit is probing the link between Tejashwi Yadav's PA, Pritam Kumar, and the alleged mastermind, Sikander Yadav. The EOU claims that the guest house where 4 NEET aspirants were made to memorize answers to the NEET question paper was allegedly booked by Tejashwi's PA. The former Bihar Deputy Chief Minister has called the charges a bid to divert attention.
केंद्र में सरकार उनकी, जांच एजेंसियां उनकी, हम ही कहते हैं मुख्यमंत्री जी को बुला ले मेरे साइड को, अरे चाहे पीए हो, पीएस हो, कोई हो, बुला करके पूछताछ कर ले। जो अमित आनंद है, जो आपका नीतीश कुमार है, ये कौन लोग हैं? इनको क्यों बचाना चाहते हैं ये लोग? क्यों ये लोग जो है डाइवर्ट कर रहे हैं इशू को?
In a big counter, the RJD, Tejashwi's party, has now released images of the current Bihar Deputy Chief Minister Samrat Chaudhary with one of the accused, Amit Anand. Amit is currently in custody and has confessed to his involvement in the NEET paper leak. The Economic Offences Unit has also recovered burnt question papers, answer keys and post-dated checks from Anand's residence.
एक चीज समझिए, पॉलिटिकल तौर पर कोई मिला हो तो मिल सकता है, लेकिन एकदम स्पष्ट रहिए, मैं व्यक्तिगत संबंध किसी से नहीं हो सकता है। ये पूरी तरह जिस पर भी है, जिन लोगों ने भी गलत किया है, उस पर पूर्ण रूप से कार्रवाई करनी।
सत्ता में बैठ के सत्ता के रसूख का दुरुपयोग करने वाले लोग जवाब देने के बजाय बरगलाने का और घुमाने का खेल, भरमाने का खेल न खेलें। पूरी तरह से सरकार सजग है, गलत करने वाले लोग बचेंगे नहीं।
But it isn't confined to Bihar. The NEET fire is raging across the country, with students hitting the streets in protest, in the wake of India Today's relentless spotlight on the story. The opposition has continued to corner the Modi government over the exam mess.
30 लाख छात्र चाहता है कि आपने जिस तरह से यूजीसी नेट का एग्जाम रद्द करके दोबारा कराने की बात की है, वैसे नीट के 30 लाख छात्र, उनके अभिभावक कल राहुल गांधी जी से घर पे मिले। उनकी मांग है कि ये भी एग्जाम रद्द होकर दोबारा से कराया जाए और नेशनल टेस्टिंग एजेंसी नकारा, निकम्मी, भ्रष्टाचार का अपना पेपर लीक माफियाओं का अड्डा बन चुकी है, उसे भंग किया जाए।
हम पेपर लीक तो बंद नहीं कर सके, हम यूक्रेन की लड़ाई की बात करते हैं। तो मैं समझता हूं कि ये बहुत बड़ा अन्याय है, जाती है। इसके ऊपर गंभीरता से विचार करते हुए सीबीआई अगर इंक्वायरी होनी है तो मेरे को लगता कि किसी सुप्रीम कोर्ट के सिटिंग जज के देख रेख के नीचे ये इंक्वायरी होनी चाहिए।
The academic future of crores of students remains uncertain. With Aditya Vaibhav and Rohit Singh in Patna, Bihar, Bureau Report, India Today.
And joining us here on India Today is Jitin Chawla, Career Counsellor and Director of Centre for Career Development. We have also with us in our political panel Dr. Shama Mohammed, National Spokesperson of the Congress, and Charu Pragya, National Spokesperson of the BJP. Good evening to all of you. Mr. Chawla, I'd like to begin with you. I'm sure you heard what the Education Minister, Mr. Pradhan, said yesterday. What did you make of his assurance, Mr. Chawla? Do you think the government's response so far to this entire issue has been satisfactory?
Not at all, and I've been on different channels, different shows, and I mean, this has been run, but I don't think so. First of all, there was a systematic breakdown of the entire process. Ideally, it should have been caught right at the beginning. The government had all the results, everything with them. So why it was not caught that one center in Jhajjar has 6 people who got full marks, 67 students got perfect scores, grace marks. Only after so much of media, this thing, then only the government relented, and the grace mark thing, they were asked to do a retest. And then, of course, various assurances have been given. But honestly, every day, me and my team, we meet a lot of students. There's a fear in the next batch of students. People who are in 11th and 12th, they're even thinking, should we even think of medical? Should we think of NEET? Why? Because it's an unfair process. Second, people who have given it right now, I got a student who's a girl, 670 score, and she is not able to, she will not get the college of her dream. And she's got 670, which is a very good score. Yeah. Earlier with 610, 615 score, I would get a rank of say around 7,000. Today with a 630 score, I'm getting a rank of 22,000. So it has become a big joke. I mean, people have got so much marks and there's something at play. So officials need to be identified. They need to be, there has to be a very strong justice meted out. Only then people will have trust in the government system. Mm-hmm. And after UGC-NET also failing, I think NTA is in a dark cloud and it is being seen. I have other things to say as to how we should proceed, but as of now, absolutely unsatisfactory. The government has to answer these questions. There has to be, as somebody was also saying, that there should be a Supreme Court judge who should be a part of the committee. Mm-hmm. They did make a high-powered committee, but surprise, the NTA head is the head of the high-powered committee. Is it a joke? What is happening? So
your heart really goes out to these students. And, I'll address what you're talking about, Mr. Chawla, also about the solution here. What should the government ideally do? We'll do that in just a bit. I want to open this up to Charu Pragya and Shama Mohammed. Charu Pragya, to you first. You've heard what Mr. Chawla has had to say. And there are scores of students who've taken the NEET exam this time who would 100% agree with him that first the government was in denial over this particular racket. Now they've woken up to the crisis, but it's a little too late. There are scores of students whose lives have been affected and there's nothing they can do about it now.
Good evening, Akshita. Let me begin by saying that our government has not merely taken complete responsibility for the paper leak that has happened, it has also resolved to fix it to the best of our abilities and in such a way that every loophole for the future will be plugged. Let's also remember that this time the number of students who took the examination, 33 lakh approximately, gave these exams in 550 centers, 4550 centers, and an incident has happened in around 8 of those centers. Every single person who's been affected by this is a precious student, is a precious citizen, and we will do whatever it takes to make sure their future is not jeopardized. In fact, I don't think any other government has ever taken this level of absolute responsibility for something going wrong in the system. So much so that we have in fact ordered a probe into one of our own departments for the UGC-NET exam, which was to happen. We have ordered a CBI probe. That's never happened before. We are committed to ensuring that the culprits of this particular paper leak are taken to task.
But there was initially a denial, Charu. First of all, there was a defense of the NTA. Then there was a denial of a paper leak. So it really does seem like the government woke up late to this crisis.
No, I don't think so. Because, Akshita, let me tell you this. The government, in good faith, had believed whatever report had come from NTA. But if there are officials in NTA whose heads need to roll, they will roll. And if you heard Dharmendra Pradhanji's press conference yesterday, he patiently answered every question put to him by every single journalist and reporter present there. Okay. Let me, though, draw some images for reference. Today, I believe that this is not a time for politicization of an incident such as this, when already the government has taken responsibility. What can the opposition say? At most, they will say, take responsibility, take onus, fix it. Well, we're already saying that we are fixing it. At the same time, there is this big hue and cry about one photograph of Anand being leaked, which has been clicked with one BJP leader. But at the same time, why is there not been a bigger probe already? And why is there a defense of the RJD nexus that has existed not merely for this particular paper leak, but in a very organized way? So all the way from the days of the Chara Ghotala to most recently Land for Jobs, the Sipahi Bharti scam, there was in fact lathi charge that went on in Bihar under the RJD rule, and even now there are clear links established between Tejashwi Yadav, his PA, and the people who were running this nexus.
No, there's a picture also. There's a picture also that's emerged of Samrat Chaudhary, but I'll get to that. Let me give first a chance to Dr. Shama Mohammed to make her opening comments. Mr. Chawla, I see your hand up. I'll come back to you. Dr. Shama Mohammed, your opening comments. BJP maintaining that the response has been very prompt and they're addressing the worries and concerns of these students.
You see, the response of the BJP, especially the education minister, HRD minister, was that the protesters have been motivated. And the NTA said this exam is very clear. It is, nothing is wrong with it. Nobody has done anything wrong in it. That is what the NTA said. Now, when did this happen is when the pressure was put on the government, including my leader, Rahul Gandhi ji, did a press conference asking them for answers. And that's when Mr. Pradhan did a press conference yesterday evening. Charu should also know that their own organization, ABVP, is protesting out there. They themselves are saying the government must answer. Now, look at the discrepancies. She says one Bihar. Bihar, you have caught. There has been a person called Sikander Yadav, who has been given, Sikander Yadav, who has been given the paper by Nitish Kumar. Nitish Kumar is the kingpin. He has been arrested. Sikander Yadav has given this paper to his nephew Anurag Yadav, who clearly has said that he got the paper one day before. 4 students got it. They had to memorize. And that is why when they answered the physics, he's got 85, biology 55, and chemistry 5, because there was no time to memorize. Then in Delhi and Rajasthan for impersonation, 6 people have been arrested in Rajasthan, 3 in Delhi. And also in Godhra in Gujarat, there have been arrests. So there has been cheating as well as impersonation, number 1. Number 2, we also know that a third party was given to review 400 centers, exactly 399 centers. They found out in 186 centers, you have to have 2 CCTV cameras in each center. In 186 centers, there was only a single camera. They also found out in 69 strong rooms, there was no security guard. So they just did a review of 399 centers. There has been huge discrepancies, one like this. There has been cheating, there has been impersonation, and you have arrested the kingpin, Nitish Kumar, who has admitted to the crime. So the best thing that can be done right now is to cancel this exam. There is no way we can sort it out. And also for the fact of the matter, I've also written an entrance exam. Now, because of the fault of the NTA, you give grace marks. Can you believe it? Grace marks to students. You never do that. How can, and because of that, I think around 50 students or 45 students got the 720 marks, the full marks. And this is the first time 67 students have got 720. Yeah. So huge discrepancies everywhere. So what we need to understand is that the NTA is the biggest culprit in both the UGC exam and here. First, you need to disband the NTA. Okay. Cancel this exam and put a re-examination.
Charu, the demand from the opposition is clear here. They're saying you have to cancel NEET. That with these kind of irregularities, we simply can't pretend like everything's fine.
Akshita, somebody has to be accountable. What happens is every time, why do these people keep doing these paper leaks? Because they know there's no conviction.
No, it's a mafia. It's very clearly a mafia that's running across the country. You look at the details that are emerging. It's an exam mafia rampant in the country. Charu, your response.
Akshita, also for the fact that the BJP... Okay, one last point. Sure. The NDA government got in a law, and I admire them. They got in a law in 2024, February, to give 10 years imprisonment for cheating if anybody does this, and also 1 crore fine. After that, in UP, the police constable exam, twice there's been paper leak. I want to ask the BJP spokesperson, who has been convicted for that, have you given jail term? As long as you just have laws and you do not implement them.
Let Charu respond now. Let Charu respond.
Nothing is going to happen.
Let Charu respond. Has the government failed to crack down? Has the government failed to crack down, Charu, on these kind of incidents?
So, point by point, I will respond to everything that Shama has said. Let's begin with this law. Now, this is the first time in India that we have a law by the name of Public Examinations Prevention of Unfair Means Bill, which was passed in just February this year. For the act to come into force, we have to wait for this parliament session. And rest assured, the intention behind passing this was only this, that students' future cannot be jeopardized because of any kind of a mafia, whether it is coaching center run or otherwise. otherwise. And I do understand Shama's passion in talking about this particular paper leak, but I wish some of this passion had also been shown when Sachin Pilot himself sat against a dharna in Rajasthan against the Gehlot government for 14 paper leaks in the state of Rajasthan, 14 back-to-back paper leaks in Rajasthan, and their own leader was protesting against their CM Gehlot. In fact, most recently they formed a government in Telangana and a TPSC paper leak has happened, but I have not heard a peep from anybody in the Congress about the TPSC paper leak. So it's well and good to be concerned about the students of this country. We all are, but you cannot be selectively concerned. You cannot look at the state of the students and then choose how concerned you are. Another thing is that cancelling of the NEET examination is now the prerogative of the Supreme Court, because that's where the case is pending. Now, we cannot get ahead of ourselves and take decisions which the Supreme Court is going to be taking in a situation like this. A free and fair probe is going on. Bihar Police is a part of this probe.
You're in government, Charu. You're in government. You're in government.
No,
sure, you can't pin it on the
33
Supreme Court to
lakhs.
take decisions for you.
No, 1 minute. There is a reason why I'm saying this. There's a reason why I'm saying this. There are, a certain number of people, 1,500 approximately students who are protesting for a certain reason. But have you gone and seen how much goes behind the scenes for preparations for an exam like this for 33 lakh students? So you cannot take the call for 33 lakh students because of some instigated children.
But the Supreme Court can.
Can I come in?
And the Supreme Court, but if a Supreme Court takes a stand on something, Akshita, we have to respect whatever the Supreme Court decides. So why don't we wait and see?
So you're not, essentially the message I get from that is that the BJP, the government is not willing to bite the bullet. You're going to put the onus on the Supreme Court. Dr. Shama Mohammed, your response.
Yeah, I just want to reply to her on
33 lakh students is a huge number of students. My phone just got disconnected, Akshita. If you can help me get connected
We'll reconnect with you. In the meanwhile, Dr. Shama Mohammed, your response. Charu, we'll reconnect
My response is that when she spoke about Rajasthan, that's why in our manifesto, Rahul Gandhi saw to it that there is stringent punishment, if you see that. So we want to correct things. We are very much onto that. The other thing which she kept saying is that the Supreme Court, you're in the government, if you have called off NEET, the UGC-NET exam, you can cancel this. Why is the Supreme Court the government of India? You can definitely cancel this because many students are protesting. Number 3, she spoke about Telangana. I can speak about Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh, etc. And I can speak about the biggest Vyapam, 42 murders. Who is accountable? The agriculture minister right now should be behind bars. He was the main person, the former chief minister of Madhya Pradesh. No accountability on that. Who is behind the Vyapam scam? Nobody knows. So let's not point fingers. I can point 100 fingers at you. What I'm trying to tell you today is that Dharmendra Pradhan is very wrong. He has to cancel the exam. He has the right to do it. He's the education. You're the government. It's not the Supreme Court. Case need not go there. Just cancel the exam. He doesn't want to because of the pressure put in by the opposition. It would be that way. But we have to think, you are a lawyer. I am a doctor. A lot of us write these exams. We need to think about these students. And it's very important and imperative. And also, let me put one thing in perspective. Why I think we should go back to exams in states, state-wise, because the centralized structure does not suit us. In the United States, they have a centralized education. We do not have. We have the CBSE board, we have the state board, and we have the IB recently, a lot of people. So the NEET exam is much more focused with the CBSE, So a lot of the state board kids, they do entrance, they go and pay a lot of money to study. They can't do these sort of exams because they come out as a bit poor in their biology, chemistry, physics. So that is what I'm trying to say is that is why Tamil Nadu is also asking for an exam which happened like how it used to have. Theirs is based on what is the marks you get on the 12th standard, just exactly how it is in the US.
No, there are a lot of objections. There are a lot of objections raised about NEET itself, about the process and the manner in which it's conducted, which we'll talk about. But focusing really on what we've seen in the last 24 hours. And I want to bring the focus now to what's been happening in Bihar. And Charu, if I can begin with you on that. Bihar, this paper leak, extremely worrying because what's very clear is that the rot runs deep. And there will be questions asked about whether the government can ensure justice in this particular case. First, there was a denial that there's no paper leak that's happened in Bihar. Now you have faced the reality that yes, there's been a paper leak and there's been a mafia, a very active one, that's done it in Bihar.
Yes, you're right. And see, while there was no solid proof, we said we will look into the matter. And as soon as the proof emerged, like I said, this has never happened before, that a government is ordering a probe and in fact cancelling one of its own examinations on proof of a paper leak at that level. So, the thing here is, and Akshita, let's be very practical when we look at this. The system that has emerged now has emerged for a reason. There has been incidents across the country because of the pressure our students face of student suicides, and we have discussed that time and time again, and that's heartbreaking. Because of that, there had to be a system where the government felt they could levy some kind of an equalizer, where the syllabus is lowered to a level that a coaching center is not compulsory, where everybody can attempt the NEET examination and be more or less on the same platform when they give that exam. Now, that being said, at the same time, as soon as some discrepancies were found and proof started emerging from the investigation in Bihar, we simply took responsibility and onus. And I cannot stress on this enough. See, you point fingers at a government which wants to shy away from a situation like this. But here is a government, here is a minister who's taking onus and saying it doesn't matter who's connected. We have to get to the bottom of this.
But
it doesn't matter which side of the
also playing out. Is there unnecessary politics also on this? With pictures, with names coming out.
Why is it that students went and met Rahul Gandhi like this? What was the need, and why is there unnecessary encouragement of creating anarchy on the streets for a situation which could have been handled in a better way, which is being handled in a better way? Please explain that to me. Now, that is politicization.
What is anarchy? One second. Can I come in?
Yeah, Dr. Sharma, go ahead.
I had calls from NEET parents telling me that once there is a child who has even cleared it and she would get admission, her parent was saying we need the cancellation because this is not right. And people, that is why even Mr. Dharmendra Pradhan couldn't go to a university today to do yoga. He had to cancel because of the protest. We are supporting the students who are protesting out there. They call us up and say, we need support from you as a political party because the present dispensation is not listening. If there were no protests, Charu, the education, the HRD ministry, as well as the government would haven't done anything. They would have removed those grace marks. They would have given them a retest, and that's what it. But you have to understand, when you are a doctor, you are dealing with lives of people. As a dentist, I give local anesthetic. It is dangerous. We can't have dimwits coming there. Somebody who's got paper the day before and they clear it. We can't have these sort of things happening in our country. We want proper people getting in. And this is not done. If it is done, we want the cancellation of the exam. We want to know who is accountable for this. We want those people convicted and behind bars. And I believe at this point of time, Dharmendra Pradhan has no right to be in that position. He has to resign because he kept quiet in the beginning. He blamed the students. And then he woke up when Rahul Gandhi gave his press conference and started supporting the students, and other political parties came out strongly in support.
Charu, final comment from you. Has there been a response from the government, a prompt one, because of pressure from the opposition?
No, absolutely not. See, Akshita, I am saying this, that the government has been on its toes for every single concern of this country, every single time. So now if the opposition wants to toot its own horn and say, oh, we got this done, well, congratulations. If you think you did that, that's very good. But if you were so prompt, your own leader, Sachin Pilot, would not be protesting against your own chief minister. You allowed that to happen. Now, at the same time, I'm glad Sharma is speaking in such strong terms. Then they're not going to object when all these links unravel and the call detail records which have come forward of Pritam Yadav, who is a PA to Tejashwi Yadav, will come to the front. Whoever is the culprit needs to be punished, and I'm glad. I'm
glad that both of you agree, whoever is involved, whichever political party is involved, whichever side they're on, they must be punished. There must be a crackdown on that. I'm glad both of you agree with me on that. Mr. Chawla, I'm going to come across to you before I wrap this up on what we started off this discussion with. When I said that I would ask you about what you believe the government should do in this situation. Do you think that this particular NEET should be cancelled?
I don't think so. One, because a lot of people, they prepare relentlessly, and some people have got good marks, some people have not. So I would say a lot of people, it might not be justified. So cancellation maybe not, but some kind of data analysis can be done so that we can at least weed out, like at least 1560 people who got grace marks, so they have been weeded out. But for future, there has to be a change in the system.
Chawla ji, what about impersonation and
So
happening in
for
centers?
future,
See, it's multiple states,
what can be
Chawla
done
ji.
is for future what can be done is that NEET can happen 2 times, like JEE also happens 2 times.
Yeah.
Second, it can have 2 levels also,
Technology.
so that there is one level and then an advanced level. So that can also take charge, and automation has to be used significantly.
Computerized.
I disagree with one of
Computerized
my
exams.
panelists. She said that so many people. China conducts an exam where there are 13.4 million students. It is called Gaokao.
Yeah.
China has done it for so many years.
No, numbers
Last year
is no
it was 12.4
excuse.
million.
That's just going
It
to
doesn't
keep
matter what
swelling
numbers
every
we're
year.
talking about.
Numbers
We
is
are
no
going in
excuse.
another direction.
We clearly have to get our act together. Hopefully this serves as a wake-up call and we clean up our education system, our exam system, because you look at the number of students now left in the lurch wondering what their future is going to look like. It's heartbreaking to say the least. And we're going to continue tracking this here on India Today to get answers and ensure at least the future of these students isn't compromised in this manner ever again. Thank you, Charu. Thank you to Dr. Shaba Mohammed and also to Mr. Chawla for joining us on this broadcast. That's all we have time for. Thanks for tuning in. Good night.